Well. Boom. Yes, sir. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Come On Now, the podcast. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Showmont. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, leave a comment. If you're new to this channel, please give us a shot. We appreciate you bringing to you all kinds of Miami Hurricanes coverage as we are credentialed by the Miami Hurricanes football program. We were at the game last night. What a performance. What a performance by the Miami Hurricanes. 27-24 winners over Notre Dame. The first win by the Miami Hurricanes over a top 10 program since, dare I say, 2017, when Miami beat the door off of Notre Dame 41-8. So, hey, welcome back. Thank you, Notre Dame, for coming back and making that happen for the Miami Hurricanes. I gotta say, this was a really impressive performance. I said before the game in my preview, this was a must-win game for Miami. This was a confidence-building game for Miami. They needed to get the job done. Home field, big crowd, 66,793 in the building. It was loud. It was exciting. Dealt with the elements as well. A lot of rain going on last night. It was an ugly night. The humidity was crazy, absolutely crazy humidity. But the Miami Hurricanes get it done, courtesy of a 47-yard field goal with about a minute to go. I think it was a minute four by Carter Davis. Carter Davis was an FAU last year. Big questions about the kicking game. Heck, he wasn't even the projected starter in the preview as the place kicker. And he ends up hitting a couple of field goals. There was a third possible field goal, but there was a bad snap on it early on in the first quarter. What a kick, those 47 yards. I mean, talk about a pressure situation. New to the program. No one from Miami's ever had that happen. Game-winning field goal over Notre Dame in the final 2 minutes. So the Canes get it done. They beat the number 6 team in the country, the former national runner-up from last season. Notre Dame went to the national championship. That was great. There was not so great, but overall, this is the first game of the season, and you can't do any better than winning a W. A W is a W. Beating a top 10 team, it just sets the tone for the future of this season. Let's talk about this because Carson Beck goes 20 for 31, 205 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kind of found out that he loves Malachi Toney. Malachi Toney is a 17-year-old freshman, people. Leads Miami in receiving, 6 catches, 82 yards, a touchdown. Has a great touchdown pass on the first score of the game for the Hurricanes on a 28-yard touchdown pass from Beck as he's rolling left and Tony's running with him down the end zone, down the goal line. Leads him perfectly, catches it, gets in the end zone, touchdown. Miami gives him a 7-0 lead. This was a game. I mean, you're facing CJ Carr, who's a freshman quarterback, and they treated him as such. And Notre Dame really seemed to want to dumb down the playbook and try to ease him into it and not put too much on his shoulders. Miami, I said before the game from my preview, you can go back and look towards the end of the video. If Miami holds Notre Dame to under 150 yards, Miami is going to win the game. And that's exactly what the Hurricanes defense did, holding Notre Dame to 93 rushing yards. An absolutely fantastic performance. When you take out the sacks, it was still like 124 gained yards. So that's still short of 150. When you include the sacks of Carr late in the game, it drops down to 31 to 28 carries for 93 yards. So impressive performance. I thought the defensive front had to dominate. If you look at my recap, my preview, I flat out said Carson Beck, defensive front. Defensive front did the job. They really made it difficult for Notre Dame. CJ Carr comes out of this game throwing a lot of swing passes, lot of screens, swings, quick passes, not a ton downfield early on, and the only way that Notre Dame completed a pass downfield is when Miami had a complete coverage bust. Complete coverage bust that actually happened on the second to last possession when Notre Dame actually tied the game at 24. That was the one coverage bust that the Hurricanes had all game. It was, I mean, the one major one. They had a couple others where they were, I think they were bailing out too early and giving way too much cushion. Miami gets a 21-7 lead and is up 24 to 14, and you're just like, yo, you gotta. I'm not feeling this bailout so fast because the Canes are up 21-7, and Notre Dame brings it to 21-14. Well, let me bring it up right here. The lengthy pass that they had for 65 yards to Eli Raridan. I mean that was just a complete coverage bust. Other than that, though, I tell you what, the Hurricanes defense was spot on. Other than that, defense was spot on. They tackled well. They gang tackled. They forced turnovers. They had Ruben Bain has an interception off of a triple tip ball situation. The ball lands right in his hands. They forced a couple of fumbles, recovered one. Hey man, you gotta tip your cap to this defense. Defense played really really well. Now there was a big play in this game. It's 7-7, and Miami is going into the break now. So it's 7-7, going with about 20 seconds or so left in the half. Now Miami did burn timeouts early. A timeout on offense, a timeout on defense, just burning timeouts, mistakes on time with timeout usage. Didn't like it, and they almost got caught for it at the end of the first half when there was about 40 seconds left and they burned like 20 seconds off one play. Had to use their final timeout, and now they're here at the 8. I think it was like the 20-yard line, and you've got to put the ball in the end zone, or you're gonna be stuck kicking a field goal. And luckily for Mario Cristobal, Carson Beck and CJ Daniels made this play right here. This could be one of the catches of the year. There was a catch I saw from Florida on Saturday, which was insane too. But like this catch right here, utterly ridiculous by CJ Daniels. He comes down with this ball, and Miami has a 14-7 lead going into the break, which was huge because Miami got the ball to start the second half and ended up scoring again to make it 21-7 and really put their foot on the throats of Notre Dame. But let's take a look at this play because this play is absolutely insane. I mean, insane.
36 yards, 12 for 19 total. Under pressure off his back.
I mean, look at that catch. Look at this. Look at what oh my God. Oh my God. That is ridiculous, man. That is ridiculous. Holy crap. Now, post game presser, Carson Beck was asked about this, and he said, I saw him catch it, but then when I saw the video, oh my God. I mean, look at this catch.
Up for grabs and caught.
I mean, you look at that 12 seconds to go in the clock, and there you have it. Miami has a 14-7 lead. The crowd is going crazy in there. I was in the building, like I said, the crowd's going crazy. What a crazy play it was. And then you come back out next half and you punch it in again, make it 21-7. Now, the defense forcing turnovers. Let's hit on a couple things now. They come back, there's 24-24. They've blown the lead. There's 3 minutes to go. And you've got Carson Beck, who's a 6-year quarterback, who said in the press conference, we're going to go score. Now, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Realistically, beautiful. Now, when you let me pull it up here. So they get the ball, and he tells them they're going to score. and he pushes them right down the field. They got a couple. They had a pass interference play that would have been realistically would have likely been a touchdown if there wasn't a penalty on if there wasn't a pass interference on that particular play. Because who was it that got tackled pretty much? I'm going through my stat sheet here. Yeah, Keelan Marion has a deep ball thrown to him by Carson Beck, and if they don't tackle Keelan Marion, he probably scores. He's wide open. He probably catches the ball and goes in for a long touchdown pass. So they get that first down. That brings them to the what the 47-yard line or what have you. Marty Brown gets an 8-yard carry to make it a 3rd and 2. Then they push it forward for a first down. Then Shamar Brown gets some more yardage. This is where, as a fan, you're sitting here saying we're settling for a field goal from 47 yards out with a kicker who was 4 of 11 last year. I mean, this is a high pressure, high stress situation, and you're sitting here like, please God, please God. And the funny thing is when he made the kick, and here's the kick.
They have not trailed tonight.
Right there, you're like, oh no, is this thing gonna curve outward? And then it curves in.
What a kick! Good!
So that kick goes through. Miami has a 27-24 lead, but you could it wasn't crazy loud. It wasn't crazy loud, right? Because I think people were still nervous and were still suffering from PTSD from last season with the defense constantly getting gashed, and having that PTSD last year, getting gashed in so many games. You have that nervousness, and on top of that, you haven't gotten to the quarterback very much. In fact, at that point, I don't believe Miami even had a sack up until that point. But at the end of the game, Akeem Mesidor and Ruben Bain they reared back and they got to the quarterback. They got the car multiple times and put the game away. Notre Dame ran out of time, and Miami wins 27-24. Unbelievable way to finish the game. No one said it would be easy for them. I mean, for a minute, it looked like it could turn into a runaway, and I got to give Carr credit for hanging in there. When he finally had to throw the ball, they let him throw the ball. But I thought that was aided largely by Miami making some mistakes defensively. Now, from the negative perspective, because you can always find something to be critical about. From the negative perspective, Miami's time management in terms of timeout usage once again still awful. Don't understand it. How you burn 2 timeouts so early to where you only have 1 late in the first half. They burned another timeout in the second half. I don't understand. You're watching this. You're like, why do they constantly have these clock issues, play call issues? They called a timeout on a punt return. If I recall correctly, it was going to be 4th down, and they didn't have their proper group out there for punt return. So you're like, how does this happen? Calling a timeout on punt return? That's a problem, man. That's a problem. You've got to fix that. You have a field goal opportunity and a snap that was horrendous, not even close to the holder. So you blow 3 points. You blow 3 points there. Miami had 2 turnovers that they got on Notre Dame inside the 30-yard line and scored 3 points. Ruben Bain has a pick that gets, and he gets the ball, I think it was under the 20 or something like that. They don't move the ball anywhere, 3 points. The other one, there was a fumble early on, could have put some points early on. The bad snap, and they don't score. A bigger problem that I have is that they weren't trying to really punch it in. That after the Bain pick, Miami had to punch it in and make it 28-14 and not 24-14. They needed to punch it in and make it 28-14. And I thought you left opportunity. They left opportunities out there. I understand offense is new. The offense is new, man. It is what it is. But you got a 6-year quarterback right there. Carson Beck can get the job done. Look, he had complete control of the game in the final possession, which was great. But you're gonna have to let him go a little bit. You got to let him play a little bit. He's not Cam Ward. He doesn't have that whoa factor and so forth. That gunslinger mentality. He didn't throw any picks, obviously, which was great. However, he is an experienced quarterback, and he should be given the opportunity to make plays. They didn't go downfield all that much. They didn't go downfield a lot. So I'd like to see him try to stretch the field a little bit more in future games. It's the first game of the season, I understand, but you point out certain things that were there. I didn't think the punting game was that great. You didn't have any boom punts that changed field position. They were 44-yard punts, but that's not a field position changer. I thought defensively they played really, really well. Played really, really well. Sans a couple of breakdowns, they played really, really well. Could see more pressure on the quarterback early on. I did not see them blitz. I can't remember them blitzing really almost at all. I don't know if it was because they didn't want to leave openings for passes, but when you have a baby quarterback out there, I think you got to bring more pressure and put him under massive duress. Just my opinion. Offensively, I like to go for the kill shot. You know, I'm into the kill shot. You're up, you get that ball to 20, you got to punch it in, man. You got to punch it in. You can't leave points out there. You can't leave points out there. You know, Miami, honestly, for what it was, this game, Miami dominated this game. Miami absolutely dominated the game. And it was one of those things where you're sitting here saying, please, please, God, you know, you can't, these guys can't lose this game, bro. They cannot lose this game. He's 24-24, and you're like, 24-24. Miami has dominated this game. Like, I'm serious, folks. If you were watching it, Notre Dame was trailing the entire time. It was one of those trailing the entire game. If you get some miracle and you win, Miami dominated and won 27-24. The margin for error is so slim. When you have high-level teams, the margin for error is so slim. And literally, the margin for error in this game was the 2 turnovers that Miami forced. Because while I critiqued the fact that they should have scored more off of them, the 3 points they got off off the turnovers is the difference in the football game. So, big time win for the Miami Hurricanes. They play Bethune-Cookman this weekend back at Hard Rock. Let me see. 7 p.m. start time. Jesus Christ. I don't want a 7 p.m. start time. But anyhow, 7 p.m. start time out of cover. Like, man, I can't keep me out all damn night for real. But yeah, that's all I got. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Let's go, man. Want to know Miami Hurricanes? Let's go. Come on now.